Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Canadian Prairie. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. With temperatures across the prairie right now pretty warm as you head off to the east, we do have a push of cooler air that's going to be coming in mid to late week, and then question marks as far as where we're headed. Once we get into the week 2 time frame, we'll talk about some of those differences here towards the back half of this video. As far as precipitation goes here, week 1 and week 2, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Just don't worry about week 2 right now. We're focused on week 1. We've got good confidence there, and that does bring quite a bit of precipitation into especially portions of Alberta, and then as you head towards western and northern portions of Saskatchewan. It does look like as you head over toward Manitoba, maybe trending back a little bit drier, maybe a little patchy precipitation here as we get into the back half of the week. We'll dive into specifics there, but what I want to point out is we are headed toward a wetter pattern right now, especially as you head off toward the west. If you look at temperatures right now, again, cooler in the west, warmer as you head off toward the east. We've got a storm system right now making its way through the region, bringing in some showers, could even bring some thunderstorms, and maybe even a few severe storms over the next couple of days. I'm going to show you a forecast for that here as well as we head through this forecast video. We'll take a look at the satellite picture here waking up on Monday morning, and here is the powerful system that is making its way ashore. We've got the area of low pressure right here, but you see the very strong jet stream winds coming in from the southwest and then fanning out across the prairie. Let's play that one more time. We've also got a circulation just kind of right up here on the north side, so lots of spin here, and that's what's going to lead to a very active next couple of days. Now here's this thunderstorm index that I developed along with Eric Snodgrass here. It's our kind of a proprietary, there's a word, thunderstorm environment index here, and what it does is it doesn't give the likelihood of severe storms, but it shows the environment, the volatility of that environment. So as you follow the scale from the lower numbers here, which would be kind of, rain showers, garden variety, weak thunderstorms, follow that index all the way to the top where, anything 8, 9, 10 is going to be an extremely volatile air mass where you can kind of think of it, if a thunderstorm develops, what kind of environment are we talking about? So let's go ahead and take the drawings off here and just look at what we're looking at here across the prairie as we head through the next couple of days. We'll look at Monday afternoon here. This will be 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock this evening, so maybe the chance for a couple of thunderstorms here across portions of southeastern Alberta getting into southwestern Saskatchewan. Let's take this into Tuesday, looking at 4 p.m., 7 p.m. on Tuesday, the chance for some thunderstorms here as you get into Saskatchewan as well. And then let's take it into Wednesday. This will be Wednesday at 4 p.m. I think the best chance for some strong storms across portions of the prairie is going to be Wednesday afternoon, and this is as the system lifts northward. We got kind of a warm front right here, and so along and south of that, we've got warm, humid air coming in underneath that upper level wave. We have that upper level wave that's coming in from the southwest. You get very cold temperatures aloft in the core of that upper level wave, so bringing that over the top of that warm air mass, that creates the imbalance, and then the very strong wind shear associated with that storm system helps take those thunderstorms in and bring them to severe levels. So let me take the drawings off, and as we look at Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, you're seeing those red and orange shaded colors here, where we're talking about anywhere from 5 to 7 on that scale. Which does indicate, an environment that's supportive of strong storms as we get into Wednesday afternoon and evening across southern portions of Alberta, getting into southern Saskatchewan, and maybe even southwestern Manitoba as we get into Wednesday evening. Let's take a look at the high-resolution precipitation forecast then as we head through the next couple of days. We'll bring it on back to Monday morning, watching for, again, maybe a few thunderstorms across, southeastern Alberta, getting into southwestern Saskatchewan. As you head off to the north, probably talking about just more in the way of rain showers as you get into central portions of Alberta. Take the drawings off again, heading into the overnight now, watching some of those showers, maybe some of those thunderstorms across southwestern Alberta lingering into the night. And then as we get into Tuesday afternoon, we're kind of between systems now. The first area of low pressure is lifting across northern Manitoba, so the precipitation exiting there, and now we're turning our attention to the next storm system beginning to emerge across the southwest, and that will happen as we get into the day on Wednesday. So total precipitation between now and Tuesday evening, again, you see the corridor where we'll be watching for those showers anywhere kind of along, and I guess I could say the people excluded there over the next 48 hours are going to be southeastern Saskatchewan getting into Manitoba, and then central, southwestern portions of Saskatchewan getting into much of Alberta, seeing at least the chance for some of these rain showers and maybe some thunderstorms. Again, the corridor, I think maybe we hear some thunder. It's going to be right in here, and then as you head off to the north, probably just talking about more in the way of kind of a cold rain shower event there, but not everyone going to get equal amounts here as we head the next 48 hours, with these being kind of isolated and scattered showers and storms. As we add in the next 5 days, we're taking this all the way to Sunday evening now. So the next week, you can see a big difference there. We're no longer talking about a smattering of light precipitation. We've got some areas that are going to get downright dumped on by precipitation over the next 7 days, with 30 to 50 millimeters, maybe locally higher amounts here as you head into portions of north central Alberta, getting into north central Saskatchewan, and then maybe even a streak of precipitation a little less confident over here across southeastern portions of Manitoba as well that could see quite a bit. You notice kind of the dry wedge here. The folks who are going to get, the short end of the stick over the next 7 days as far as precipitation goes is going to be across southeastern Saskatchewan, getting into central portions of Manitoba. But the low confidence in kind of the exact layout of this, it is possible some of these areas do pick up, 10 to 20 millimeters of precipitation, which would be very typical for this time of year for a week's worth of precipitation. Let's talk about how this happens then. We're going to look at the European Ensemble forecast and take it out about a week, because that's where some big differences begin to work their way in. So we've got ridging off to the east. That's what's allowing the warm up in the east. We've got our trough beginning to organize and anchor out toward the west. We've got another trough off to the north. These are going to kind of merge, and that's what's going to create the active pattern here across the prairie and also bring the cooling trend to some areas here as we head through the next few days. So we'll take it on through the day on Monday into Tuesday, getting it into Wednesday. And now we're seeing the trough begin to develop across the prairie. This gets us into Friday. We're now seeing what would be a much cooler air mass. We're seeing this pattern that was supportive of rain and thunderstorms. And that is going to be the trend here, is going to be an active week across the prairie. So let's look at the temperature trends with a pattern evolution like that. We've got ridging in place now, leading to warmer temperatures as we head into the middle part of the week. Again, we turn active here with plenty of precipitation, chances for rain and thunderstorms. That rain and cloud cover will keep things a bit cooler as you head back toward the west. Of course, the warmer air mass off to the south in the warm sector of the storm system, that's what leads to the potential for some thunderstorms over the next couple of days. And then as we head into the end of the week, getting into Thursday and Friday, cooling off first in the west. This is where we've got our trough. The jet stream's doing something kind of like this, coming in and then lifting off to the north and to the east. So we've got warmer air underneath that trough, cooler air coming in on the backside as we get into the end of the week. But by the time we get to the weekend, cooler air overspreading much of the prairie, finally getting over to Manitoba as we get to Sunday and Monday. The good news is, it may not linger, but we do have some big question marks, big disagreements between the European model, which takes us into a drier and warmer pattern in week 2, versus the GFS, which kind of keeps the cooler and wetter pattern in place across the prairie. Unfortunately, the European, we don't say this often, but it has been performing a little bit worse than the GFS over the last several weeks to a couple of months. So we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get kind of to the week 2 portion of this forecast at the very end of the video. What I want to do is kind of time out the storm systems here over the next several days. That's going to be providing a lot of the significant precipitation over the next few days. We've already talked about today, the light rain showers, the chance for a couple thunderstorms across the south portions of Alberta and Saskatchewan through the day today, getting into tomorrow. We're kind of between systems tomorrow. It's Wednesday as the next area of low pressure comes up from the north, such that Wednesday afternoon we've got an area of low pressure kind of elongated here somewhere between the borders of Saskatchewan and Montana. We'll go ahead and kind of, that is not the color I was looking for. We'll kind of place it right there with a big L. We've also got our warm front extending across this region, and that is allowing for the destabilization of the environment across this region. So as I showed you with the Thunderstorm Index, as we get into Wednesday afternoon and evening, be on the lookout for a couple of strong storms across portions of southeastern Alberta, all the way through southern Saskatchewan, and then southwestern portions of Manitoba. We'll get to talk about this on Wednesday morning with our next video in a little bit more detail. So then we'll take it through Wednesday night now, watching those thunderstorms lift off to the north and to the east, with rain overspreading the area to the north, and with cold air wrapping around on the backside. There is the chance that portions of northern and north central Alberta could see a little bit of snow as we get into Thursday night and Friday. Not even out of the question in the Calgary area here, with enough cold air wrapping around on the backside of this thing as we get into Friday and Saturday, that we could see a few snowflakes flying in those areas. So that takes us through much of the week. We'll cover the later part of the week in more detail as we get to our Wednesday and Friday forecast videos. But just looking at the timing of the precipitation accumulation here, just taking it through the middle part of the week, getting into Wednesday now. And this would be Thursday. Friday with that area of low pressure just kind of spinning away across the region. We'll take it out to the next 10 days. And again, you just see a lot of precipitation across a couple of corridors here. The most obvious right there from portions of the northern plains of the U.S., the high plains, across much of Alberta, and then the northern half of Saskatchewan. Another potential wet corridor here off to the east, with drier but not dry in between there across southeastern Saskatchewan into southwestern Manitoba. Now, as we talk about week two, I've got a comparison here between the European and the GFS model here on the right. And again, this is week 2. After seeing, some areas getting a ton of precipitation over the next 5 to 7 days, I was hoping to be able to tell you that we'll head toward a warmer and drier pattern in week 2. I first looked at the European model and I said, aha, very dry across much of the prairie, trending toward a warmer pattern. That's because the GFS, or the European, wants to take the jet stream and send it well north, doing a bit of a ridge across the region. So precipitation would be north of the prairie, dry and warm across the prairie. But then I looked at the GFS and I said, wow, that is about as opposite as you can get, with wet on top, dry to the north, versus dry in the south with wet in the north on the European ensemble. The GFS keeping troughing in the region. So instead of the jet stream doing the inverted U, we've got the U shape there, and that is a completely different pattern. That's a cooler pattern, a wetter pattern, versus the warmer and drier pattern on the left. So big question marks as far as where we're headed in the week 2 time frame. And again, just going with trends, even though it is the less ideal situation, the GFS has been the more reliable model over the last several weeks. So take it for what it's worth. It's a week out there, and we're going to talk about it Wednesday. We'll talk about it Friday. We'll talk about it next week. So it's not, a death sentence yet. Let's just focus on the pattern for the week and what we understand, and that is a busy next couple of days in some parts of the prairie. Let's go ahead and talk about temperatures over the next several days in some of our select cities here. Calgary, you're going to continue to cool off into the weekend, finally warming back up on the backside, potentially back into the 19 to 20 degree range for your high temperatures. Edmonton cooling off into the end of the week as well. The coolest days here, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then as we look at Regina, again, same thing, a slow cooling trend, a little bit warmer to start off. Again, a very warm air mass in place across the region right now. 29 degrees for the high today, or I'm sorry, 29 for the high Tuesday and Wednesday, and then that chance for some strong storms across the region on Wednesday in Saskatoon and Regina. Winnipeg, you get your warmest day on Wednesday as well, before a slow cooling trend, but not as severe in the east. Again, the main axis of that trough is going to be off to the west, so the lowest temperature here is going to be a high of 20 as it stands right now, and that would occur on May 23rd. That would be Sunday. Have a great day. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. We'll talk to you again on Wednesday morning.